So people are losing their minds over it. I want to cover that, but since you're in Congress right now and this vote is imminent, can you just give us some further confidence that we're not going to have any type of break inside of the Republican conference here and that this is going to pass today?
Well, I think Massey's still going to be a no. Fitzpatrick voted against the rule. Maybe he's still a no, but that obviously gets us, we can lose 3 and still pass the bill. I'm not hearing any clamoring or discussion or anything from other conservatives that had some angst and some issues with some of the provisions that the Senate put on and sent over. Some of the things, obviously, I'm not real happy about either, but the overall end-all, be-all of the border policies that are in this bill, the border funding that is in this bill, the tax cuts, all of the policies that Trump campaigned on, we have to get this done for the American people. And I think POTUS and the White House were very involved in talking to those members that had reservations late last night. Like 4 o'clock in the morning, the rule passed. And so now we are here on our, I think, 6 of Hakeem Jeffries filibustering on the floor. And who knows how much longer he's going to talk. The rumor is he's going to try to beat Kevin McCarthy's 8 hours. So that'll put us at 1:30 this afternoon. I mean, he can't leave the podium. So at some point, the guy's going to have to go to the bathroom. So I would imagine that at some point today, we will get to vote on the big, beautiful bill and send it over to the White House.
Yeah, Congressman, we have a photo here of members of his own caucus sleeping.
Oh, falling asleep.
Yes. I think it's Martha. I think it's Captor. Yeah. It's Captor there. So he's putting everyone to sleep. He's speaking about 5 words per minute. It's pretty embarrassing. He's like clearly doesn't have the cards, as the president would say. You've been speaking with the president on this. You've been one of the major muscles to push this bill over the finish line. Can you give me the top down from the White House as to why the strength of this push and why the aggressiveness for this bill? Just really basic talkers as to what we get next when the president signs this.
Yeah, first is border. I mean, everything that the president campaigned on securing the border, finishing the wall, money for more CBP officers, all the things that we need to do to make our nation safe because Joe Biden had an open border policy and let 12 million illegals into our country is in this bill. On top of that, from an economic standpoint, you have the permanency of his Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that we passed 5 years ago. If we do not pass this bill, then every American is going to see their taxes increase. 64% of Americans are going to see an overall tax increase. The average family of 4 is going to see an increase of $3,500. If you have a small business, you're going to see your 199A deduction taxes go up by 20%, which would have a huge negative impact on the American people. If we don't get this done, this will be the largest tax increase that ever happens to the American people because the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act from his first term will expire. So those are the 2 biggest things for me is the taxes and then obviously the border provision issues to be able to deliver that to the American people. These are the things the president campaigned on. No tax on tips. We couldn't do no tax on Social Security. So what we did do is give those people on Social Security a $6,000 credit towards their taxes. So those on Social Security are going to be able to deduct that amount from their taxes. And people are going to see an immediate benefit from this. If you're on Social Security, and this bill passes, next year you're going to be seeing that your Social Security, you get to deduct $6,000 from your Social Security taxes. So there's going to be huge benefits for this, which is why we wanted to get it done so soon. So the economic impact of this going into next year, as we go into the midterm elections, all of the voters and Americans that voted for President Trump are going to see the huge impact of his positive policies on the economy and on the country.
I know that you were at the RNC convention, Congressman. I was standing there on the floor, and speech after speech, there were signs that were being held by those who were there to vote for President Trump that said mass deportations now. And balancing the deficit, balancing the budget, these are very important things, but that's not what the signs said. And that's not what the campaign was about. The campaign was about securing the American dream by not handing it over to 30 million criminal aliens and then handing Nancy Pelosi 30 extra seats in the House because they can rig the census every single year. And this is what Americans said. This is what they wanted. And now we have the numbers. Well, here's the signs. This is great. I have one of these signs. It's the only memento I have from the RNC convention. Your bill here, Congressman, is going to make ICE the 10th largest military in the world, which is really impressive. We're funding it on the level that Canada funds their military, and that means you're getting serious about mass deportations. Yes.
Yeah, and you're seeing that all across the country. You're seeing it with Alligator Alcatraz in Florida. You're seeing it with Republican governors that are stepping up and assisting the federal government and ICE and CBP to accomplish this mission. We have, it's like 400 known terrorists that were on the terrorist watch list that Joe Biden let into our country. Murderers, criminals, rapists, you name it. We can go through all the stories and spend hours talking about all these criminals that were allowed into our country to terrorize our citizens. And we have a president that is going to bring national security back and get these people the heck out of our country. So you need money to do that. You need the manpower to do that. CBP has been woefully underfunded as it relates to the enforcement arm because Joe Biden basically used them as processing people for paperwork to allow people to come in and do asylum claims. So you're going to see this big push. You can already feel it in the country that people feel more secure. They're doing these missions to get these people out of our country. And it's exactly what you said. It's exactly what Americans voted for, not just the popular vote, but the electoral vote that put Trump back in the White House.
So ICE could deport all of Italy, according to this graph. ICE now has more funding than the entire Italian military. All right, got it. Switzerland, Brazil, Netherlands. ICE could really do a number. An incredible Republican talking point. Last question on the subject, Congressman. Amazing Republican talking point that I just heard from the floor. Remarkable stuff. I don't know if you wrote this talking point or not, or if you're giving notes on this. But a Republican, I never heard of him. His name's Hakeem Jeffries. Saying that this will be deportation machine on steroids. An incredible talking point from the Republican side of the aisle. Well done, Congressman. Really, really motivating people to vote for this.
Yeah, I appreciate him giving me that talking point. I might have to take that little clip and retweet it as you're welcome. So yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And that's exactly what this bill does. And honestly, the tax stuff is very, very important and it's huge for the economy, but just the provisions of the border bill that are in this bill are huge for the American people. And it's exactly what they sent President Trump to the White House to do.
Can you give us a little bit of a preview of the runway to come? Like what's going to happen next? This bill, you said, is going to get signed. It's going to pass, and this will be then behind us. And then Congress has a little bit of a runway before you get into re-election season when all the gears just sort of grind to a halt. So then what happens next? Give us like an end of next 6 months, please, through Christmas and the end of the year. Congressman, what will you be working on?
Yeah, so this is what in this bill is $1.6 trillion in spending cuts. This is our appropriation season. So before we leave for the August recess, appropriation committees are going to start putting out their appropriation products so that we can vote on the floor. Last week, we already voted on MilCon VA. I'm hearing that the NDAA, which funds our military, is coming next week. So we will try to get all these appropriations out and sanctify all of these spending cuts. I hope that we do more spending cuts in the House to put us on a path to a balanced budget in 10 years. I know there's a lot of people that share my concern on that. So you're going to see us move hard into appropriations as we move before we go to the August recess, because we want to try to get that done before the recess.
Okay. Any other interesting investigations? I know you're on a number of critical committees. Anything that would be of interest in holding deep state accountability? There's the lead of the show here, Congressman. I know we're almost 3 hours into the show, but the lead of the show, of course, is this bombshell CIA report that proved that the CIA intel agencies, particularly Brennan, Clapper, and Comey, were actively guiding and breaking the law in order to get Trump internally in these intel agencies. Any type of accountability there?
Yeah, you read my mind. That's actually where I was going to go. I'm in the Intelligence Committee, and we've already talked about what we can do from an oversight and investigation process on that, and working with the FBI director and the different intelligence agencies to bring some accountability here. CIA Director Ratcliffe, this is that first step in issuing this report of what was really going on. And now, even if they want to hide behind classifications, we can do that on the Intelligence Committee, because it's a classified environment, and bring these people in and start deposing them. Since the report, we have not had a meeting to discuss the details of this, but I 100% anticipate that we're going to move forward on this. I think we're also going to move forward on some of these leaks that we've seen as it relates to the DIA report on the Iranian targets and those type of operations that were leaked to I think it was the CNN. Suddenly it's on CNN, a top secret classified report from DIA to undermine and undercut this administration as to the lethality of the attacks in Iran and on those nuclear sites, to completely undermine the president. I've already asked the chairman to bring in the DIA head so we can put him under oath and ask him who generated this report, how this report got in the hands of a CNN analyst, where they are on their investigation. I do know that the FBI is actively investigating that, and those people are going to be held accountable. You still have a deep state here. Trump's done the best he can to get as many of these deep state actors out as he can, but you've got like 8 years of Obama and 4 years of Biden to get these people out of our government, and they are still using the intelligence apparatus to undermine President Trump, and we can't let that happen.
Can we have your word, Congressman, certitude, because our audience is ravenous for this story. We read through the entire CIA top-line report this morning, spent the first hour on it. We have your word that the Intel Committee will subpoena Brennan, Clapper, and Comey to answer for this.
You've got my word. I'm not the chairman, so I don't get to make that discussion, but I'm certainly going to have that conversation with Chairman Crawford that they absolutely should come in, and not just a hearing, because a hearing is just 5 minutes for each of the members. They need to be deposed under oath, prepared, maybe even bring in outside counsel that specialize in this type of criminal cross-examination, put them under oath and depose them and ask them these tough questions. I absolutely 100% support that. And I think it needs to happen. There's got to be accountability for all this stuff that happened under Trump's first term.
Okay. And if you find that they're lying, as John Brennan has lied, egregiously he has lied, demonstrably he has lied to the Senate Intel Committee, will you be sending criminal prosecution suggestions to the DOJ?
Absolutely. If there's evidence to support that, absolutely we will do that.
Thank you, Congressman. Godspeed. Everybody follow the great Congressman Greg Steube right here. He's got 115,000 subscribers on X, making Florida proud. Godspeed, Congressman.